Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us here today to go over the Aladtec employee scheduling and workforce management system here today as it pertains to law enforcement agencies. We appreciate you taking the time to take a look at our system here and hope you get an opportunity to take a look at it a little closer as we can offer you a free custom demo with your system and put in your own information, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we're just going to give you a general overview of the system and some of its functions and capabilities in here, and you're going to find that it's very customizable and be able to configure to whatever your needs are in your department. We are a small company here in the Midwest, just on the western edge of Wisconsin, in River Falls, Wisconsin. And we're housed here all in-house. We developed the program and the software, sales and support. I'm part of the technical support team. We have a questions panel in our GoToWebinar panel there. So if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to submit those and we'll get those answered for you as they come along. And if anything you see specifically as we walk through the system and want some more information on, I'll share it with everybody here. Today's webinar is going to take, a half hour, 40, 45 minutes, depending on how many questions we get from the group. So fire them out there and we're happy to cover whatever you like. So let's see what we are going to cover here today. We're going to look at the system in itself. We're just going to show you exactly how it looks in the system through one of our sample programs here, departments. We're going to take a look at a member database, how you can store all your members and their associated information, everything from email and text information to notification options to where they are allowed to work and qualifications to an expanded, HR department, if you will, that will store all their details of what's needed, including dates and certifications, and the system will track all that for you. And of course, the schedule, as you see a picture of there as an example, we'll be able to show you how you can customize your schedule and place people on their shifts and rotations and schedule overtime and time off and trades and all that sort of thing. We'll show you some examples of those. Another great piece of the system here is forms. So you can just make your whole world paperless and you'll be able to customize any form you like, or even just choose one from one of our over 200 pre-made forms as the template to get you started and have everything centralized and accessible right within the same system. And then of course, everything feeds down to reports. That's the the high level needs for people for everything from payroll to numbers to statistics and tracking overtime and all that sort of thing. And we'll be able to show you how you can customize all those reports exactly for what you might need. And there's much more, of course. And if you have any questions, again, please submit them through our questions panel in the GoToWebinar. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's get started right here in the system, and we'll go over here to our sample system. This is just an example of our home page here. Once you get logged in, we are a cloud-based, web-based software. It's just a website that your members will be able to access from anywhere on any device, as long as you have an internet connection with a browser. All you're going to need to know is the keyword for your particular system, and everything comes from aladtec.com/the keyword, which will be specified for your department, and we'll be able to set that up just for you. And in this case, we have a law webinar keyword here where you'll get to a login page that looks similar to this, and you'll be able to put in your credentials of exactly what your username or email and password, and be able to get logged in from anywhere. You'll have to set up those credentials in order to get into your system, of course. And if you forget, you can have it reset to your email, of course. Once you get logged in here, you're going to see here a splash page here, a home page, which is a great, just a default page for you to post any notices or notifications or alerts or whatever want your people to see as soon as they log in. We always put default simple instructions on here for your members that you'll be able to reference if you wish. So as part of that, you can do that on right here. You'll notice here on our default page here, we talk about a little bit about ourselves here. As part of your service, when we get you set up here, it's all basically encompassing the system is it comes along with it. And what comes with it is free training. And when we get you set up on your custom demo and we put in all your information, and you get to take a look at the system for free and navigate through the system and work with it just like you would if it was live. And if you you can customize it and have our support staff at your disposal as you review your demo for free. And then as part of that implementation process, if you decide to go with it, then we just keep going with that very system. It's already set up and ready to go, and the transition becomes a lot easier. And we offer, of course, free training for you and your admins and your members as much as you like to get up to speed on what you might need to get it rolled out to your members. Free upgrades are happening all the time as well. Our programmers and engineers are always working hard to make it better all the time. It's a constant evolution, and we roll out updates every week, and that's a part of the system that automatically gets pushed out to the system to everybody. And then, of course, there's us, our support department, ongoing for you as a customer going forward forever. It's unlimited, free tech support, email support, chat support forever. And we kind of pride ourselves on that. There's a few of us here, and that's what we do for our almost 2,500 departments across the country and Canada. You call, we answer, we talk to you. There's no phone tree. There's no, if we're busy, just leave a voicemail. We'll call you right back. It's just like calling your friend. You just call and talk to us about whatever you might be thinking of. So it's absolutely free, and people love it. So please take advantage of that. You can see our phone number and our email here, and we have a whole help section at your disposal as well. If you're one of those folks that just kind of like to learn on your own and you just want to kind of figure it out, that's great. We have a whole video section in here that has video examples of all the different functionalities within the system. And we even have a customer webinar that we host every month that you can watch at any point as well. You don't even have to, be available and attend the webinar. Once it's over, it's been recorded. We just post it out there, and you can review that webinar whenever you like, or any other part of the system, along with blog entries and help documents and so forth. And if you just want to skip all over that, you just go to our contact page and you just click on the chat, or just email or call us anytime. So we hope we keep that in mind here as we look at our system. Right on the homepage as well is a nice little dashboard. So right out of the gate, for any admin or otherwise, you can just kind of see what's going on for yourself. If there's any change requests here that need to be taken care of, as from an admin's point of view, I can see here there's a pending trade waiting to be approved. People have signed up for shifts. People have asked for time off. And you can even click on any of these items here to see the quick specifics of what those requests are, and you can even click on them themselves to look at them in more detail, and then see anything you might need to approve or deny right from there. That's just a quick shortcut on the dashboard here, but there's many other places where you can review the same information, as you'll see. I'm just kind of showing you as we get started here on the home page. The homepage will also show you when you're scheduled to work. So for any member, they'll see the first, the next week's worth of shifts of when they're working, times and places. There's information here that's stored in your member database that you'll be able to track in terms of the dates. If you have CPR certifications or other certifications or training dates or anything that expires, the system will track that and ping you and let you know that, hey, you may need to get that date, get that certification up to date, or whatever it happens to be. Events on the calendar coming up here as well, trades that are being offered to yourself if there's anything pending, and there's a discussions area, a forum, just kind of a communication blog out there as well. If there's any unread posts, you'll see them there as well. So everything's driven here, menu driven across the menu bar here across the top here. We're just going to kind of go from left to right here in order. And of course, everything starts with your members here. So under the members tab here, we're going to be taking a look at the member database. And if anybody wants to see their own information, you can see the My Info. The configurator here is how you can configure your profile with an unlimited amount of fields, to configure it to your own needs. And then we're going to kind of cruise down the way here and look at schedules, of course, the forms I mentioned, how those are managed, reporting. There's a storage area here, and discussions, and we talked about help. So let's start with the members here, and let's go to our member database. This is how it all starts, is with your people, of course, and you'll be able to add members as you need, and you can see their information here laid out in a grid, right from their first name, from their name to their phone, their email, to what type of employee they are, and it just goes on right down the line, whatever else you might need to know, their date of hire, their title. And again, this is all configurable to your specific needs. This is just an example database of what's possible here. So we'll see some other information as we look at a member here in more detail, but you can see it's all organized in a nice member report that you can of course customize using filters here and organize it as you wish. You'll see as you what's great about the system as well is when you navigate around and hover your mouse over things, this is when you discover what kind of user interface there is and what you're allowed to do. If you hover your mouse over some of these things here, you can see that the pencil shows up. So if you need to, say, enter in somebody's phone number, you literally can just click in the cell and enter in the information right from out here, which is pretty cool. And you make changes to any of that. And if you need to change a bunch of people at once, we have a batch edit feature as well, so you can change a bunch of people at the same time. You can sort these things by clicking on the column header, ascending, descending, and organize the columns to display what you wish using the filters here. So it's very customizable as what you might need there. And then if you need to get it out of here as well too, you can print. It'll generate a printer-friendly version, or if you need to export data into a CSV file, which then imports into a spreadsheet, rows and columns here. So any report or the member database here can be exported as well. Let's take a closer look at a particular member here. Let's look at Frankie. We're going to hover over their name and just edit member. And we have some high level information right out of the gate here. Of course, their first, last name, the username that they're going to use to log in. Passwords are set only by the member themselves. Only the member can see and set their own password. And there'll be a live link here that will end up sending to their primary email. So they have access to their email and they would click on the link and set whatever password they wish. And an admin will be able to do that for them. And when you add somebody new for the first time, it'll be more of a welcome email. And here's the password link, and here's the link you use to log in, and so forth. More other high-level information dictating the system, access levels, talking about what kind of authority they have in the system, just what can they see and do, and there's everything from top-level administrator, which most of you I imagine would be, where you have authority to do whatever you want in the system. You can view and edit everything, or you're just a basic member. You can see your own information, but you can't really edit the schedule or approve requests or that sort of thing. And then of course there's everything in between. You can certainly delegate authority, almost like a piecemeal kind of thing, ad hoc, and you get to decide which supervisors and which admins have control over which parts of the system, and you can make as many of those as you wish. Work group dictates what kind of rules that they're following. How do they interact with the system? Can they sign up? Can they trade? Can they ask for time off? Does it require approval? Do I need to track work limits? Do I need to make sure they're not working too many hours in a row? And will that tell me? And so forth. And you can have as many different rule sets as what they would really be called, work group or rule sets, for the different departments, for the different rules for different groups of people. If that happens to be part-time versus full-time, dispatch versus patrol, admin staff, whatever it happens to be. And what's handy about these groups here, the access levels and work groups, is that you can utilize those groups as a filter down the road to designate a message, a group message to just your dispatch members, or allow authority to a particular form for just your top level admins or your patrol admins or whatever it happens to be. So that's just kind of an added benefit for making these groups to help you keep those things in order down the road as well. We have a really expanded payroll module within the system, and some of these fields are going to be related to that. We're talking about pay periods here. You can have multiple pay period ranges set within the system and assign members to what pay period they belong to. And then of course, how do they get paid for that pay period? There's a pay profile in here where it delegates, or not delegates, but designates exactly how they get paid. Do they get paid overtime? Do they get paid on holidays? Do they have shift differential? What do they get paid for and in what manner? So those are profiles that will be dictated within the setup of the system that you as an admin will be able to set and control at any point. Notifications are a big part of the system, of course. You have your phone and text and email. So the member usually has control over their own notification options because they dictate what they want to be able to get. Some people love to get all the notifications, some people don't. If some people are just in the habit of just logging into the system and see what's up to date and what's out there, great, they can do that. But then, of course, you can certainly set up your own notifications here. As you'll see, you put in your text, email, 10-digit phone number, choose your mobile phone provider, have as many email addresses listed as you wish. You can set what time of day that you get messages so that you're not getting interrupted in the middle of the night if you don't use a do not disturb and so forth. And then, of course, you get to dictate what kind of notifications you get from the system. If Frankie here wants to know when their time off has been approved or denied right away, as soon as that happens by email and text, they can turn those elements on and get notified about those events as they occur for their own requests. And then on the admin side of things, of course, the admin can dictate what types of notifications they get from members as they request new ones. So if they have authority over, say, the dispatch people, and every time somebody in dispatch asks for time off, they can turn on the request to get a notification as soon as that happens so that they're aware of it right away. Otherwise, they would just log in and just see the pending request. But admins will be able to control that by the different groups and types and methods as well. There's other alert options here, such as coverage alerts, which we'll talk about. That's how you're going to be able to quickly get out a message to everybody that there's an overtime shift or a shift available in the future. Forms can spit out notifications as well for different events. The certification and expiring date fields that I mentioned here are turned on by default so that they're aware when those dates are coming up and expired. And there's even an upcoming shifting reminder if you're not on a regular rotation. Maybe you're a part-time member or a volunteer member and you signed up for something next month and you completely forgot. This will remind you. You can turn this on 24 hours before the start of that shift, reminding you that you're working tomorrow. Don't forget. So all those notifications are available to you there as well. Qualification section, this is dictating where is Frankie allowed to work? What are they qualified to be? This is how you're going to decide, who are the admins, who's the chief, who's the captain, who are lieutenants, who could be patrol, who could be dispatch, that sort of thing. And as you build your schedules with the different labeling here, you can call your schedules whatever you want, of course, and positions as well. You can dictate as many positions as needed and call them whatever you need. In this case, Frankie's allowed to work, it looks like, on patrol, security detail, and they're an officer. They're not a detective, they're not a lieutenant, sergeant, dispatch, otherwise. So what this does for you as an admin is it really helps you not have to remember who's who. When you're filling out the schedule and you need to put somebody on that schedule, you're only going to see the list of people that are qualified to be there. So you're not accidentally putting somebody in as a detective or captain when they're not really qualified to be there. And then conversely, on the other side, of course, when somebody offers out a trade or somebody wants to sign up for a shift, or however those functions go along, it only will go to those designated people that are qualified to be there, that have permission to work there. And that's what's dictated here. Time off is also tracked in the system as people ask for time off. There's usually the situation where people earn time, of course, over the course of years and months, whether it be sick time, vacation time, personal time, comp time, whatever. So you can see here as an example, Frankie's been here 1 to 2 years. And every January 1st, they're going to get their dump of 40 hours of vacation time. And then every 8 hours a month, on the 1st of every month, they're going to get sick leave added to their balances here. And the system will track those. And as Frankie asks for time off, he'll be able to see how many hours he has, how much it's going to cost him, and of course, how much he'll have left. And maybe he doesn't have enough left. And if he goes in the hole, then it's going to be big, bold, and red. And maybe it's for the admin to decide that they don't have enough hours and deny that request. And there's a history clock here that will track all that activity as well as they go along. For comp time, it's a little more, as it happens. It's not on a regular rotation, or not a rotation, but a regular pattern that you can actually, just predict and give them every month or year or whatever. So, but you can, as an admin, of course, just give them comp hours as they come along. In a lot of law enforcement agencies, it's very common when an overtime request comes up, do I want the overtime now, or do I want to take it as comp time later? So they can decide, right? They can, get paid for the overtime as it happens, or if they decide, you know what, save that overtime, give me 8 hours of comp time that I can use at another time. And you can just say 8 and put in whatever note you want and say, okay, and give them that many more hours to utilize later. From general information down here, this is your world. This is where I was mentioning you can make this whatever you want. You can have as many sections as you want, any fields that you want. There's all sorts of different field types, from text to dates to lists to checkboxes to numbers. And of course, those date expiring fields that I mentioned can all be situated in here. And it's all very easily done through our configurator here. It's very similar to a form. It's just your member form, and it's all drag and drop, and you can just make it as in the design that you wish and track whatever fields you want, put different labels on and such. And don't forget to save, of course, any changes that you make as you go along. A big feature in the system is, of course, being able to send messages here. So if you want to just send a general message here using text or email, that's the biggest function from in here. You're just simply checking the person's name of whoever you want to send a message to, or choose everybody, and you'll be able to basically compose an email or text message any way that you wish, to say whatever you wish, send it in the designated format you wish, and send it out to your members. And that's a one-way, no reply message. There's no conversation back, there's no inbox to check or anything, but the system does track all this activity as well, so you'll always be able to go back in time and see exactly what message was sent to whoever it was and what it said. So you'll be able to do that. This is just an open-ended message, basically. You say whatever you wish. Okay, I think that's good on members here. Let's move along to schedules here. That's what you're here for. Let's talk about the schedules in the schedules tab here. As I click on the schedules tab, we're going to go to the main schedule view. In this case, that's the monthly calendar view. The other elements here under the schedules tab are the My Schedule page, which we'll look at here in a minute. Availability, if your members submit when they're available to work ahead of time. Focusing on trades, all it has to do with a member and their trades. So these are all different ways to look at the schedule. These are all ways that an admin can manage the schedule and edit it. Everything from a daily hour editor here to putting people on a rotation, a pattern over a range. You can add anybody anywhere on a range, or you can remove anybody over a range as well. So these two are kind of opposites here. And then there's a change request log here where you can track and have a nice work queue for all your requests. It's just a bigger, more detailed version of that dashboard that we saw on the home page. But let's look at the monthly calendar view here. As it looks here, we have our enforcement center here, law enforcement center here, and we can see our different schedules broken out here. We have an admin staff, a couple of patrols, looks like days, mids, and nights, dispatchers here, security detail, and you're going to see some elements here of what coloring and different elements of what's going on here. Purple is indicating an open shift. It's just not filled, just saying there's an open officer position here on October 1st. And you can see otherwise on the other members here exactly who they are and where they're working. And if you hover over their names, it gives you a little more detail: captain, lieutenant, detective, officer, sergeant, and exactly when they're working. We're looking at the monthly calendar view here, which is dictated by these 4 calendar icons here. And this is just different ways to look at the schedule. You can look at it from a monthly point of view, from pay period or your own date range, by week, or even by day. If you just want a daily roster of what exactly is happening on any given day, you can certainly do that. And you can just jump to any day that you wish and look at it from a daily point of view or a weekly point of view to look at a kind of a scope of the whole week and who's working where. And then typical is monthly. It's just nice to see a big picture. If we scroll down here to the current week, highlighting the 13th here today, you'll see some other indications here, different color-coded options here, such as time off. So this is just indicating Kathleen is on time off, and you can certainly click on the details to see how that one transpired, date-wise, and who approved what when. Extra hours is a function used a lot by law enforcement. This is the opportunity for you to have your members submit extra hours that have happened in the past. Basically, they're requesting to get paid extra, over and above their ordinary shift. If you got held over on a call, if you went to court, if you were in training, if you feel you should get overtime, whatever it happens to be, members can submit what's called an extra hours request and allow them to do that. And it's as simple as an admin to review that request and approve or deny it, and it automatically feeds to the reports and they'll get paid for it. There's also trades on the system in this kind of off green color here. So you'll see along the way if anybody has made a trade, also indicated by these little arrows here. So you can see here Perry's working for Frankie on that particular patrol first shift. And this must have been a swap because here's the other side of the swap, right? Frankie's working for Perry just a few days before. So you could do trade swaps, 1-for-1, or you can do a trade giveaway. This is a trade that's got a little green here. That just means it's been requested and it's waiting for somebody to pick it up. So it's just not been approved or completed just yet. Sandra's still on the schedule here where they're normally scheduled to work, and she looks like she's looking to give that shift away here. And we're just waiting for somebody to accept that. Purple, like I indicated, means an open shift here, and it looks like we got some more purple here of signups. So we have an open officer position here, and it looks like Seth and Kathleen are signing up for that shift. Signing up for patrol shift first officer, so is Kathleen. So an admin can look at this and say, do I want Seth or do I want Kathleen? And then you can approve or deny Seth's request right from here as well. Or you can add notes to maybe review it later or send it back to them, and do you want it to be overtime versus comp time, that kind of thing. And I know it's pending because of this little green A. So that's just an indicator for you as an admin to visually see that it's waiting for your approval. You'll notice on the patrol shift here, there's this little stop sign here. Well, that is a minimum staffing requirement that you can set up for your schedules as well. So to give you another indicator here that, hey, I'm short something here. I'm short a staff member for whatever reason. You can even click on it and see, hey, I'm supposed to have 3 on between 6 and 14, and I only have 2. So this is just a visual indicator that you might need to do something about that. And it looks like that looks like they are. We got people signing up for it. And as soon as you approve one of those requests, it'll fill that spot, and then the minimum staffing warning will go away. What probably happened at this point for these signups to happen, if a member hasn't come in and just looked for themselves to see what's open and sign up for it already, maybe you need to kind of put it in their face and notify them about that particular shift. That's what this blue envelope here is at the top. That's what's called a coverage alert. And what you can do is basically click on that envelope and send out the alert for any open shift in the future. And in 10 seconds, you're sending everybody the notice that, hey, I got an officer open on patrol shift on Friday, and I need somebody to work. Here's the link. Click on it and sign up for it if that's what you want to do. And you can even be specific about it from hovering over, say, the title of the schedule here, and I can send a coverage alert, and it looks pretty much like this. Steps 1, 2, 3, everything's already pre-filled with all the defaults. It knows what's open already. It knows whoever's not already working and is available to work. And it knows what the notice is going to be by email and text. And it's going to send it to everybody at the same time. And you can add notes to this to say, hey, this is for OT, blah, blah, blah. And then part of that email, that note will be added to the default email there, and they'll see those additional notes there as well. And then, like I said, here's the link that they'll be able to click and just take them right into the system. They log in and sign up for a shift. Now, in a lot of situations in law enforcement, maybe you don't want to send it to everybody at once. Maybe you have a rotating overtime list. Who was the last person that got offered an overtime shift, and we need that person to get first crack at it. Okay, you could do that. You could set up what's called a staggered notification alert to do exactly that. And the system actually has those dates hidden in the, as tracking in the background of the last time they were offered a shift and even the last time they accepted a shift. And then that that basically that order automatically rotates, and if they were offered a shift, they drop to the bottom of the list. Then the next person on the list gets the first crack at the next overtime shift. It's their turn to have a window of time to sign up for a shift, and only they can sign up for the shift during that window. Everybody else is locked out. They get their turn. It's kind of like a draft, and they get their 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, whatever you set it to be. And then if they don't take it, or they say, no, I'm going to pass, then it automatically goes to the next person in line, and it automatically feeds those notifications and keeps spitting them out until they get through the whole list. And you as an admin can preview the list, make sure it's going to go in the right order, and you can see how it's going as it goes along and see where you're at and things like that. So there's a whole functionality to do exactly that. That comes up a lot in the law enforcement area. So we can walk through your particular criteria of what you need. You know, maybe it's by date of hire, maybe it's by number of hours, maybe it's, you know, whatever the criteria happens to be. In most cases, we'll be able to set it up. And you send it out, and they all get it. Then what happens when you're looking at the schedule and say you want to make a change and you want to see who else is available, or you want to look at something in a little more detail, or you just need to swap people out or make a change or whatever. Now we're going to move into getting away from viewing the schedule. We're not making any changes out here to editing the schedule. And that's when you take it into the hourly editor. Let's take a look at just patrol here. So I can do that, right? As part of any screen, you get to determine what it is that you're looking at. You decide what kind of details you're looking at. Let's just look at this again, just so I can show you an example. Again, there's the filters up here, and you can click on the edit filter here and say turn everything on or off as necessary. You can clean up this view to make it a little easier to look at. If I just want to see the patrols, I can basically hide everything else in the background and make it a little cleaner and easier to look at. And if that's something you like, you can save it. You can save it and call it your patrol only view, and, you know, share it with other people and have different ways to look at the schedule or the information that you're looking at on the big screen. Doesn't mean it's deleted or gone away. It's just there. And that's unique to you. And of course, you know, the question always comes up, hey, how come I can't see what Joe sees on his screen? Well, that just means that you have different options checked. Maybe you just need to turn it on. You know, just go to your own edit filter and just check the box. So again, we're in the hourly editor now. Now we're looking at 1 day's worth of time, and we can make any changes we want as an admin to change the schedule for any given day, any given hour, half hour, quarter hour, as needed for any particular shift. We're looking at, you know, of course, today, the 13th, but let's go down and look at the 15th here. I'm going to click on the 15th, and this is where we have that open shift here for an officer, right? We have a couple of sergeants available here, spots. We have some officer spots. Sue is working, Evan's working. This is open. The rest of it is not open or blocked because, of course, there are 24 hours in every day, right? First shift starts at 6, and it normally ends at 1400, but after that, it doesn't mean that these hours of the day don't exist. It's just that we don't normally use them. And then what we're using is a functionality in the system called block time, so that they're not open and confusing people into thinking that those hours are available to work or whatever. It's just cleaning it up basically. And we can modify that block time as you wish, as you'll be able to see here. So we have an open officer position here, and I'm going to select it here using the little button here. And what that does is show me basically on the bottom half of the screen, the list of people that are eligible to work that officer position and what their availability is with a corresponding schedule for each person. As you'll see over here, the timeline starts at 6 over here. And what's great is it's sorted by default how available they are. And here's Seth and Kathleen. They're the most available people there are because they literally want to work it. They are signing up for the shift. And here again, we can just take a look at any of those requests and say we want to approve one. Now I'm going to do it. If I approve that, then Seth automatically gets populated into the shift. He gets notified that he got the shift and he's working on the 15th. And then Kathleen also got a notification letting him know that that sign up has been canceled because the shift's no longer available. It's been filled. So Seth is now working here, and now we see some other information such as availability that people have submitted. These are how members can let you know if they prefer to work a particular day or hour, if they're available to work, or maybe they're not available to work. So there's different types of availability people can submit. And let's say, we want to make a change here. We want to add a fourth person to the staff here. Here's where I can say, use my drag and drop functionality here to start moving things around up here. You see these arrows that pop up as I hover over these little blocks of time. I can grab any of these and I can just create another spot. I can just create another opening here by dragging the block time over. And I can even move people around. I can say, maybe I want Evan to be on top, and I can just move people around, or I can say, make their shifts longer or shorter if it's going to get split, or, the overtime case where, Seth needs to be working a couple more hours for whatever reason. So drag and drop is allowing me to just basically take my cursor here and, utilize it to make the schedule picture whatever it needs to be for any particular day. And if you don't like it, put it back the other way. You're the admin that can do it one way. You can do it the other way. You can just make it look like whatever you want. And if you put Seth on by mistake, or Evan on by mistake, or they called in sick, or whatever it happens to be, you can certainly get rid of it, right? You could just say, well, Evan's not working that day, I'm just going to delete him. Or if they, like I said, called in sick, you could submit time off on their behalf and go ahead and do that. And then there's even time types here. So here's where I mentioned where you might be able to label a shift as something other than regular time. You can have a list of types to be whatever you want. And you'll be able to see, training, overtime, whatever it happens to be, and make that shift whatever it needs to be. And it will label that shift, and then of course the reporting will reflect that. You can even grab people from down here and move them up with drag and drop as well. If I take Perry, this is really cool. I can take Perry and just move them up and just drop them right into the slot. Or I can say, hover over this one, choose Bob, choose the information along the bottom here. Maybe he's in training, and I can add it using the functionality down here as well. So there's lots of ways to move people around on the schedule. You can even move people from one schedule to another if need be. There's information down here to help you decide who you might be putting in. There's calculator columns here to give you numbers of how many hours they're working already, what their date of hire is, what their title is. So there's lots of resources here. This is the main screen that admins use, right? Day-to-day scheduling. And so there's a lot of information on this screen, but it's all here for a purpose, to allow you to basically do everything from one screen that you might need to review, to help you decide and, get that criteria together and, put the schedule together day to day, and you can just navigate down the road and keep going with day by day who's going to be working where. So that's a handy tool there. I know that's a lot to look at on that hourly editor if you haven't seen it before, but this is something that you'll be able to, get your learning curve up to speed once you're looking at a custom demo for yourself, and you'll be able to just, use your cursor and figure, the user interface and move it around and play with it all you like without any, anxiousness of, making mistakes or anything like that. It's just part of the process of learning any software, right? So it'll all be here for you. Repeats and rotations, again, if you don't want to put in people on a shift day by day, one day at a time, one shift at a time, for, that would take a long time. I'm sure you have rotations, like your California rotation, or, an admin Monday through Friday, or whatever it happens to be. Any pattern that you have can be used in the system. If it is a pattern and it repeats, we can build it. It's as simple as that. And if there's not a pattern there that by default that you can use, then we'll make one for you. We'll make you a custom pattern to whatever your needs that you have, to make it efficient and easy for you to put people on the schedule for up to 2 years out all at once, one fell swoop. So that's what repeats and rotations will do for you. Date range delete, like I mentioned, is the opposite of that. And change requests is the kind of a work queue, like I mentioned, of all pending requests, giving you a little more expanded detail of who's requesting what and when. You can process each of those, and as you go ahead and process those, they drop down into a log that of course tracks the history and activity for every request that comes along, and that history is kept forever and it can't be changed. right? So you'll always have an audit trail for everything that happens in the system, no matter what. You'll be able to go back in time and research whatever happened. I want to mention a lot of these other main parts of the system here before I get to some questions. There's a forms area here. I can't tell how great this is enough. You know, your ability to basically create whatever you want. You can create any form that you want. It all uses really easy functionality of drag and drop, and you can make it whatever you want. This is just an example configurator here. And if I want more dates, I can take some design options from the left here, and I can just move them to whatever I want. I can make lists, I can make check boxes, I can add attachment fields even. I can have the ability for a member to attach a picture or a PDF or a file or something right to the form electronically, and it becomes part of the form submission. And it's all here, and you can make different sections and sign off with signatures and have an admin only section, and the form can, you know, ping people via notifications, and they have their own permissions here of who can do what, who can see it, who can edit it, and so forth. So your world can be, you know, less and less full of paper and desks piling up with things, and you don't even have to be physically there in order to submit anything. Your members will be able to submit a form from home, from their phone, from any computer, from the car, whatever it happens to be, and everything can be reviewed and centralized right within the system. Every form filters down to its own report that you can utilize for data mining or work queues or processing or whatever you need to do. And of course, all that information is exportable and usable. And if there's, you know, if you're thinking, wow, I don't really know what I would use forms for. Well, if you click on add new form, you'll get some ideas here. We have over 200 pre-made form templates that we've gathered from all our customers. These are all the best of the best and the most used, and they've already built them, and we're just, you know, taking advantage of using them as a starting point of a template for you, and you can utilize any of these forms, you know, to take for yourselves and use it as your own and make it your own. You can customize it, of course, after the fact and make it whatever you want. It just gives you a nice starting point of any type of form or request or whatever it might be. And you can see here, there's a lot to play with and a lot of ideas there. So you can have as many forms as you want and make whatever you need to. That's a really great function. Then, of course, there's reporting. You know, anything you might need to get out of the system in terms of, you know, per member, an individual member report. If you just need a summary of how many hours people have over a range of time, if you need to break it down into, you know, by shift, a scheduled time, shift by shift of exactly who worked over the pay period or whatever happens to be, that's there. Trades, who owes who what, that sort of thing in a trade hours report. We have a really cool expanded payroll module in the system, like I mentioned, where you're going to be able to really specify down to your groups and who gets paid what for what reason, that sort of thing. And there's an expanded payroll report here that you're going to be able to utilize. And it's very much more customizable and a lot of rules. That's what every department basically ends up asking for. You know, how do we get this out of here to get people paid accurately and correctly? That's how we've designed the system. We want those rules in there for you. Every department works differently. We know this. We've gone through all the scenarios. We have experts here who deal with this every day, and we'll be able to talk through with you exactly what you might need and get it as close as possible to the final payroll report, where it's as easy as exporting it. And we're even working on integrations with payroll companies as well to make it an even easier flow of information right from Aladtec out of here and get people paid quickly. There's a storage area here, which is really cool. Again, it kind of goes along with forms, but another great centralized location to store files and information and keep them organized and make them available to your members, again, from anywhere. They'll be able to grab operating procedures, policies, procedures, training documents, you know, pictures, videos, you know, any files, employee reports, whatever it is. You'll be able to basically upload it, and you basically get unlimited space here to utilize in terms of putting that information and making it available to your members. And you can make those folders, you know, restricted to admin eyes only if you want, or whatever it happens to be. And There's lots of information out there for you that you can put, and yeah, you can add them in a hierarchy of folders, and copy the link and send it out in a message and that sort of thing. There is a discussions area here, which works like an online forum, if you will. Another nice communication tool that you can utilize to have post things out there like meeting minutes and things like that, or ask questions, and people can respond with their own posts back and forth. Discussions. The one thing I haven't mentioned yet is, of course, you have control over the system. The system is yours to do as you wish. There's a nice setup area here that's located in the upper left under your department name here. And here's where basically you're setting all the rules and settings and templates for everything in your system. Everything from access levels of what they are and how they're defined in work groups, to what your schedules are and what they're called, how many positions you might need, what the default shift is, when does it exist, minimum staffing requirements. So, the setup is where you're basically defining everything. What are your holidays? What are your positions? How do you guys do time off? What kinds of time off? Time types, that's like time on, those sorts of things. And here's the payroll module that I mentioned as well. You'll notice there's a time clock module here also. If you have people that need to clock in and out, we do have a time clock feature in the system that we can turn on. That does come with an additional fee. That's an added module, but you may want to take a look at that in order for your members to clock in and out against the schedule and see when they're early and late and where they're clocking in and out from, and use that as an element for reporting and pay as well if you wish. So that's a functionality you can trial for free as well. All right, looking at the clock, I know I've been kind of just rolling on here to 45 minutes. Let's take a look at if we have any questions in here. So Jeffrey here, we're asking, can you designate or make a training category? If so, how's that done? I'm assuming you're referring to the schedule itself, a training schedule? Yes. Absolutely. You can see here there is a training schedule here already, and you may not have seen it on the schedule because we're utilizing what's called that block time again, because the training schedule doesn't exist necessarily every day, right? If I come up and I just turn on only the training schedule and I'm looking for it and I look at the monthly, it's not there. Where is it? Well, it's there. It's just hidden in the background. And if there was, like, say, training next Wednesday, we could edit the schedule for that day, and if we go down to the bottom, we're going to see our training schedule, and here it's just covered with block time. So let's just say you had a training session here, and what I can do here is just basically create an open time. Let's just say the training's from 9 to noon. I can just say open time training 9 to noon, and there's an open spot there, and I can make 2 of them if I want. I'll do that quick just to show you an example. Right now I've created 2 openings for training, and if I go back to the schedule, there I go. I got 2 open shifts for training. Now whoever's eligible to come in and look at their own schedule can just click on it and sign up for work or get on the training, or you could just plug somebody in. If you know who is on the training, you'll be able to just put the member in there as needed, and it'll show on the schedule just like this. You could do that for anything. Now, training is just a kind of a generic schedule, but you could literally do that for almost anything, for special events, football games, parades, meetings, COVID screenings. You can make these schedules whatever you wish. You can make as many as you want. You control what's open and what's closed on any given day, and that's what that block time is all about. So I hope that answers your question, Jeffrey. Let's see what else we might have. Oh, I didn't mention how members interact with the schedule, of course. The My Schedule page is where your members are going to go for themselves. And of course, they can go look at the big picture and see the schedule views and see who else is working or who they're working with or what else is going on. That's fine. But what a member wants to interact with their own stuff, when I want to see when I work, when I want to ask for time off, when I want to trade my shift, when I want to sign up, when I want to submit extra hours, that's all done through the My Schedule page. And an admin can kind of even take that on themselves to act as the member, to come in as Frankie, and Frankie can click on any of his blue shifts here and request a trade or submit time off. Or if there's, and you'll see here, there's check boxes here on the left, and these items can be turned on and off and just toggled on and off, kind of like those view filters, right? And if I turn on open shifts, here comes all the purple, right? Here's all the open shifts that Frankie is eligible to work that happen to be out there in the future. You can navigate to next month and get ahead of the game and so forth. So whenever a member wants to interact with their own information, they would be going to the My Schedule page. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, of course, mobile, right? Everybody's on their phone, right? If you want to look at the system from your mobile point of view, you can. And what's really cool is you can see what that looks like from a desktop. I'm on the desktop here. There's a mobile site link at the bottom of most pages here that I can actually click on, and here's what it looks like on your phone, right? It's a different format, of course, right? It's configured to fit on a smaller screen, so it's easier to read, but it's the same live information, and most of the same functionality is within. So when a member looks at the dashboard here, they see all the highlight of what's coming up, available trades, open shifts. Members can, or admins can, approve and deny requests from here. And then everything's driven by the little menu bars here, and you can navigate to your own schedule. You can fill out a form. You can send messages. You can see what else is going on day by day. So a lot of the same functionality that you can see on a desktop, you can also see through the mobile site, which is what most people use. And our mobile site is just another version of our website. There is no mobile app. People think that it means that there's something to download and install. Well, there isn't. There doesn't need to be. That's because, it's live information from our website. You're just going to your browser on your phone, like Safari or Chrome or whatever you have, and just bring up the website. And then there's a way to add that shortcut onto your mobile device on your phone, and it puts the little icon on your home screen. Looks like every other app, and all it really is a shortcut or a bookmark like on a browser on your desktop, and it just opens right to the website, and you'll always be seeing the most recent live current information. No need to download or update or install or any of that. And if you want to navigate to the full site, even on your phone, if you want, you can just view the full site, and it'll take you to the full site, and you can navigate around using your phone if you want as well. If you're more familiar with that, that's fine. So yeah, you can get that's our mobile site information right there. Let's see, what else? Anything else? Any other questions that are out there? We certainly appreciate your time, and thanks for listening to me ramble here through this whole overview here. I certainly hope a lot of you have come up with ideas or thoughts to kind of let you think about taking the next step, and that's calling us, right? Or sending us an email and letting us know that you'd like to see more. It's free. Why wouldn't you? You could just set up you'll be assigned a specialist and a sales rep, and they'll take you through the whole process and talk with you about your department, and then maybe eventually get some information from you so they can set up a custom demo system for you with your own people, with your own schedules and your own information, and you can treat it just like it was live for absolutely free. And you'll be able to interact with it and make sure it's going to be the best module for you to work with, the best system for you. And we work through, your support is free through that whole process as well. So we'll be able to answer any questions. We don't want anybody getting frustrated or anything. So that's when you get a hold of us at any point here, right? Our support is available to you. We have a toll-free number, we have email, we have a chat. You can just start typing and talking to us there as well. So we hope you take advantage of that and get a hold of us. If you have any questions or thoughts, I think we're going to have that link in the chat. Yes, we do. So there in the chat window of the GoToWebinar panel there, if you go to chat, there's an actual link that you can click on to sign up for that free demo or read more about us through our website as well. So we appreciate everybody taking the time to do this today. We hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, or where we are, Wednesday. Hey, Wednesday, midweek, and a great fall weekend for you. So thanks for joining us, and have a great one. Thank you.